I'm telling you straight, this chapter is literally the best chapter of all time in the Boruto verse. Between flashbacks, demonstrations of strength, intrigue, and pure moments of aura, this chapter literally has everything we could dream of. So, without further ado, let's begin this review of this pure masterclass from Kishimoto and Ikemoto.
The chapter begins with Sarada recalling personal memories that marked her life following the awakening of her Mangekyo Sharingan. She will remember that Boruto promised her to become like Sasuke and that he will protect her if she becomes Hokage. Moreover, we have confirmation that it is at this moment that Sarada falls in love with Boruto, because right after, we see the class representative confessing her feelings of love to Boruto. Then, Sarada remembers the moment when Boruto sacrificed his eye to protect Sarada. We understand that at that moment, Sarada felt completely weak and helpless in the face of the threat that presented itself. At that moment, Sarada sees Boruto, who is literally applying what he promised without acting, as if it were a distant dream. He acts immediately. Sarada will then realize that, indeed, she must stop telling herself that her dream is distant and running away when she must act now, as if she did not have time.
Then we cut out of Sarada's flashback and return shortly after Boruto left Konoha. He is discussing with Sasuke about Sarada's Sharingan. Sasuke reminds us that the Sharingan awakens through strong trauma. He confirms to us that Sarada did not realize that she had awakened her Sharingan, but that she will realize it at some point, and that at that moment, she will use the abilities of her Sharingan instinctively.
Back on the battlefield, Sarada is angry. Yodo is dead, Araya and Mitsuki are exhausted. Sarada is literally the last hope for the shinobi. Ryu rushes forward and tries to attack Sarada. Unfortunately for him, his iron filing sand is completely absorbed by Sarada's black hole. Mitsuki then goes to inform Sarada that his eye has changed, but Sarada cuts him off by saying that he shouldn't worry, that he and Araya are staying behind to watch over Yodo. She also says, as Sasuke told us earlier, that she already knows the capabilities of his new Sharingan, even though she just awakened it. Ryu then launches another attack, but this time he tries to force the sand into the black hole's path so that it still hits Sarada. To his surprise, the iron filings from the sand are absorbed from the other side. We then see that there are two black holes. Ryu will take a few seconds to observe, and in fact, it is 4 black holes that are above the battlefield. Suddenly, Ryu and Sarada will levitate.
Seeing this, Mitsuki makes a very good deduction. He's sure that Sarada's power is based on gravitational force. Ryu tries to use his iron sand to stay on the ground, but his sand will still be absorbed by the black hole. Mitsuki then makes a very good point, which I've seen other YouTubers like Ludovic Manga have deduced. Everything that gets absorbed by the black hole is carefully selected and intended by Sarada. Mitsuki, Yodo, and Araya aren't absorbed even though they're also in the battlefield. Then, Sarada gives us a monologue. She tells us that for a very long time, she looked away from her intention to become Hokage, from the impatience of what seemed distant, from the catastrophes that befell her, from her being too weak and not knowing how to do anything. She didn't want to accept it, and so she looked away. She was troubled by the class representative's feelings and her own towards Boruto. She thought all of this was a weakness, and so she tried to reject them, unaware that by rejecting all of this, she was also rejecting the strength she hid within herself. Ryu cuts Sarada short and tries once again to throw iron filings and sand at Sarada. Ryu clearly still hasn't understood that he's done for. He's then violently absorbed into the black hole. Sarada ends her monologue by saying that from now on, she won't look away, because if she keeps running away, she won't be able to face the reality before her, and she won't be able to save the people she loves. Ryu tries something very clever. He summons a tree of soldiers and, using the claw mark, tries to bring Jura into the battlefield. Sarada immediately stops him. Sarada ends by saying that her dream is to become Hokage, and that if she wants to achieve that, she must first start accepting herself.
And they're a pure moment of aura. Just look at her posture. It's unprecedented in the history of the Naruto and Boruto universes. Sarada launches an attack with her hypnotic kaleidoscope of Sharingan called Ohiram. And then boom, Ryu screams of pain. Black fire erupts from the black hole and literally disintegrates Ryu. This creates an explosion. Ryu is now defeated. Sarada faints and falls from the sky. Mitsuki goes to catch her and deduces that Sarada must have used up all her chakra. Ryu Shinki's thorn soul thus appears, given that Ryu is dead, like what happened with Hidari.
A quick note about Sarada, who has literally just transformed into an aura farmer and honors the power and renown of the Uchiha clan. I mean, look at everything she's done so far. Her postures, her decisions, her powers, Sarada has literally just increased her aura to its maximum. I can't wait for this part to be animated. I actually found a superb animation of this scene. I'll show it if the video isn't copyrighted, otherwise, I'll leave you with the rest of the review.
Is that black sphere? Is it one of Uchiha Sadara's abilities?
Mitsuki, guard Araya and Yodo, and protect yourself too.
Sarada, your eyes.
Don't worry. This ability may have just awakened, but I already know what it can do.
I don't get how, but it seems all of the Iron Sand is drawn towards it. Another sphere. That one absorbed it, so there are two. Or I count at least 4 spheres. That's my bodies.
They're floating. That's it. I bet it's gravitational force.
Damn it! What's going on?
For too long, I've averted my gaze. From the me who felt unsettled by class reps' feelings, and from my own feelings towards Boruto. I rejected them all as weaknesses, not realizing that I was also rejecting the power hiding inside me.
Quit mumbling nonsense! You psycho!
I'm not looking away anymore. If becoming Hokage is my dream, I need to start by accepting myself. Mangekyo Sharingan, Ohirume.
Then we change locations and head to Ida, Boruto, and Kashin Koji's side. Ida informs them of Sarada's victory over Ryu thanks to her new power. Boruto, overhearing the conversation, is surprised. Kashin Koji is delighted to hear that his plan worked. Ida says that it's still a shame Yodo didn't make it out alive. Kashin Koji then says that his sacrifice wasn't in vain, but that on the contrary, it was able to awaken Sarada's new Sharingan. This statement intrigues Boruto, and he then questions Kashin Koji. I don't know about you, but whenever I see Boruto, I get so excited. This guy is clearly the embodiment of Aura himself. Anyway, he coldly asks Kashin Koji if there's any chance Sarada could awaken her new Sharingan without anyone dying. Kashin Koji will respond vaguely, saying that what's certain is that if Boruto had come to save them, Sarada wouldn't have awakened her new Sharingan. Boruto will blame Kashin Koji for knowing Yodo was going to die, and for not telling him anything. Keep that in mind, because this will have an impact in a few moments. Boruto will ask him one last question that will be fatal. He will ask if Konohamaru has any chance of surviving against Mars Yuri. Kashin Koji doesn't answer. Boruto will then force him to answer, and Kashin Koji will spit out for the third time his speech about if you go to the Sunagakure battlefield, Jura will appear and kill you in an instant. Boruto has no answer. But wouldn't that be one wrong answer too many for Boruto? Then, finally, we find ourselves in Konohamaru's battlefield against Matsuri. Konohamaru can't move anymore and is about to be finished off by Matsuri. Suddenly, a shuriken appears on Matsuri's shoulder. Here it is, the moment we've all been anticipating. Boruto has appeared to rescue Konohamaru. Just look at this panel, which shows us the full class and aura of our main character, Boruto Uzumaki. Matsuri didn't even have time to finish saying the word Boruto, when boom, Boruto one-shots Matsuri with a single sword strike, without Konohamaru even having time to see it. Another moment of pure aura from Boruto, who didn't even have to force it. This guy is simply aura at its infinite. In the last page, we see Matsuri completely shattered. We also see Kashin Koji, exasperated by what Boruto just did. As Kashin Koji rightly said, Jura is aware that Boruto is in Suna and is probably preparing to act. This is how this chapter 21 ends. I don't know what you thought of this chapter 21, but I enjoyed every moment of it. This chapter is, for me, the best chapter of all time of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Well, maybe there were a few things missing that would have made this chapter the best of the entire Naruto-Boruto saga. Someone who has been waiting for years. Well, I think he still hasn't decided to come out of hiding.